How is history the map of the future when all past events came as a surprise? Today, I'm going to explain how you've been lied to about history and why your predictions mostly fail. Hello, it's your one and only candlestick preacher guiding you through the ups and downs of finance one candle at a time. So, if we look at the past, history is labeled with surprising events.
7 points or so. Apple shares are just getting hammered this morning.
We're down by between 3 and 4.5% generally across these markets. Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate. We're red everywhere, essentially, down by 4-5%.
We're down over 16%. Dow at the same time has fallen about 18%.
Disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
Luckily, most Americans don't know much more about bank failures than we all learned from watching the Christmas time classic It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart.
How the economists and investors use it as a guide to predict the future. Isn't that ironic? Don't get me wrong. History helps us calibrate our expectations, but being a map of the future is a stretch. We rely so much on history and forget that finance and economics is a field where innovation and change is the lifeblood of their existence. We're talking about a massive group of people making informed and non-informed decisions based on their hormones, which is quite funny. So it's crazy when you think about it.
I do not suffer disappointment well.
It's crazy when you think about it that the feelings of humans are one of the most dynamic concepts ever. I can choose to do this thing today, and the next second, I do not want to do it again. And that's why I feel it's hard to predict what they will do based solely on what they did in the past.
I am my own beginning, my own ending.
Take for instance active traders. They have like a 90% win rate strategy, and before you know it, it's no longer working. Why is that? Because the feelings of humans are involved. It is the feelings of humans that variable move price. That's why price action is very, very volatile. In economics, things change over time. Few things stay the same for a long time. So, we are not supposed to treat history as a prophet or prophecy. The funny thing is, people tell themselves different stories. Their preference for goods, for services, and for stocks change over time. So, how is it that historians are now treated as prophets? I will tell you a basic truth. Life is basically a game of odds, and so is investing, shockingly. No one knows how many percent rates are going to rise in the next decade. And also, no one knows with certainty which asset class will outperform in a few years.
No one knows.
A practical example will be the Shiba Inu token that did 1,000,000% in 2021 during the hot season. And what happens is people caught this wave and others didn't. Then, the aftermath, a lot of people tried and they are trying to predict the next insane mover. And what happened to them? They eventually got burnt. And that is how life is. Even the odd season people predicted has not even come when they said it will. And it has left lots of investors and newbies in the crypto space confused. It just shows that history has a mind of its own. Investing, as I said, is a game of odds. The Great Depression, World War II, the 2008 crash, all these are outlier events. The outcomes are completely different. So, no matter how hard we try to predict another event like this, the outcome will never be the same. And you know why that is? It's because it deals with how humans react. For example, the 9/11 attack prompted the Feds to cut interest rates, and this in turn drove the housing bubble, which also led to one of the biggest student loan defaults in history. So it was like a dominoes effect on the economy. And the next thing that happened was $1.6 trillion student loan with a default rate of 10.8% happened. The whole financial market price data can be linked or tied to a handful of these events, which are nearly impossible to predict. You see, these surprising events do not occur because we have low intellect or low intelligence. The odds of you predicting the plane diving into a tower, then causing students to default on their loan is very, very slim. You see how crazy it is, right? These events had no precedent when they occurred. The 2008 crash happened, you would think that the world will be prepared. Then what happened next? COVID struck again, and we had to adjust. So it's like a repeated cycle. The world was not ready for all these events. And it's not a failure of analysis, as people will say, but a failure of imagination. I remember When I was in primary school, my teacher used to flog me on my butt for coming late because I stayed very far from the school. And I improvised and I came up with an idea to triple my underwear to cushion the strokes, the effect of the strokes next time. And then, next time, when I came to school, thinking he was going to flog me on my butt, he flogged me on my hand. So this is just the microcosm of predictions. Nothing is certain. The financial market is dubbed in human emotion. So you can't predict why or what someone will do. So what makes you think you can predict a mass number of people thinking at the same time?
Are you God?
The only admission here is past surprise should be an admission that we have no idea of what might happen next. You see, these are unprecedented events. The meaning of unprecedented is we won't be prepared for them. They have never happened before. So how come we are trying to predict events like this? It's highly unlikely. For example, no one knew Bitcoin would be over 100k as it is now when it was first launched. People saw it as a scam, and a lot of people still do. Kudos to them. And then there are people who still hit their head on the wall for not investing early. Fortunately or unfortunately, there will always be an unprecedented event. And only a few people will be on the right side because life is a game of odds and not because we are prophets. The same strategy Warren Buffett used in stock investing might not work on crypto because it made sense in the generation. And this is a new generation. We have different investors, we have different risk appetites, and lots more. And that is why Bill Graham always changed his formula he presented in security analysis for investing as time passed. We think we can predict market cycles, but history has always served us cold meals. So things have changed. Things changed, competition grew, technology made information more accessible. These are constant evolutions in history. Now we have blockchain and industries are shifting towards it massively. It doesn't mean we should ignore history when it comes to dealing with money, but instead of having a specific outlook when you look at the past, you should have a general takeaway from the past. My take-home notice: historians are not prophets. We are nothing but pencils in the hand of history. So, if you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, and as always, stay volatile. Peace.